Welcome back, everybody. We're live, and welcome to the Two Alphas Talk Show. We're live on Twitch, Saber Team 19, Facebook Saber Team Tactical LLC, and Two Alphas Talk on YouTube. Like, follow, and share. Tonight's topic we're going to talk about is this is just the subject matter of what we're going to talk about. Do we need more gun control? And we're going to go into a lot of subjects from there. All right. So gun control. So you guys know what's been happening in the world today. If you don't, you've been living under a rock. So what's happening in the recent shootings that we have had over the United States, at least 4 in the last month, mass shootings. And so the a certain party, a Democratic Party, has decided to push gun control and trying to destroy the average citizen for protecting themselves and using deadly force to defend themselves or their family. And by doing this, they are pushing bills that has nothing to do that would stop the last mass shooting that we had. Um, all the requirements they're trying to push is like 9 of them, and even one out of New York that came up that's even crazier. That's going to make us all felons. Yeah, most of the bills they have will make the average citizens felons. And so what we have to do is say they're trying to sugarcoat this thing and act like it's um, what was the bill back in, what was it, 1992? The what was the when they had the bill? Yeah, when they had that bill before, and so they're trying to say this is similar to it. So all you gun people, 2A supporters, constitutional people, or gun supporters, you guys need to uh, be sensible and say we need to have some type of laws or something to protect our children, and not realizing when they say that the only people who are going to abide by these laws is law-abiding citizens.
Right.
They then, because the criminals are not gonna, they're not gonna go and do a background check. They buy the guns in the street or stealing from cars. The criminals are not gonna go and um, they're not gonna keep their guns in the safe. They're not gonna stop their guns from going into places where they don't need to be. They're like, if you, let's say a bank robbery. If a if a criminal come in there and you got a sign out there said this is the no gun zone, you're gonna tell the criminal, okay, you can't bring your gun in here, and they're gonna be like, oh, they're gonna stop. Yeah. Oh, bank is in the no gun zone. You're not even concealed. You're not supposed to carry in the bank.
Right. It's the same
Yeah.
that we use the same protection we use for our kids in a school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
Same.
I'm actually total agreement with what you said, but I mean that's crazy. That's unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah. And so what? Uh, like what Robert Arnold said, he said no. Yeah, we don't need more gun control. And from my philosophy is, if you give them an inch, they would take a mile. And so they're trying to utilize this, and a lot of people don't realize what just happened. If we got a lot of people who don't pay attention to the news. You guys saw what Canada did. Canada went ahead and actually stopped the manufacture, sale, and distribution and ownership of all handguns and firearms in Canada. So, was it handguns?
Yeah, I think it was handguns. I mean,
And, it's- and,
no
and
matter
see,
what,
that's
it's still ridiculous.
Yeah, because that's weird. Because why would I think they already banned? They can't have heavy caliber, not sports rifles. I don't think. I think they can only have handguns. So I think the handguns was the last straw for them. That was it. I think the rifles they can have was got to be a bolt action hunting
They
rifle.
they
If anybody from
handguns didn't
Canada, go
sweeten the
ahead.
bill.
Yeah, if anybody from Canada, go ahead and chime in, and we'll put it on the board. We need more criminal control. That is true.
Proposed a
Tougher.
complete freeze on ownership. Excuse me, I was just giving you that reference to Canada.
You
Proposes
say
a
what
complete.
now?
Canada proposes a complete freeze on ownership of handguns.
Ownership,
Yes.
right? So that's not. Now the question is, are they taking away the grandfather clause out of it? And if they are, um, they won't be able to. Even the people who own it now won't be able to actually have firearms at all.
According to
And
this, May 30th, it was he wants to freeze the sale, importation, and transfer of handguns in Canada. That's what he told reporters today, or as of
mm,
May 30th, which
that
is
was made.
it's not a full ban, is what they're gonna say. The same thing with this. What's the other thing that they're saying? Gun Safety Act. The gun. We all know, and everyone that's a Second Amendment proponent knows that gun safety is the four cardinal rules: being safe with gun handling, not any ban or any restrictions on ownership. That's not
Hmm.
gun safety. That means
Right,
you're now restricting the rights of the people, and that's it. There's
right,
no other way around it.
right. And once these bills go through, there will be no way to overturn or get your rights back.
Mm-hmm.
And so what they're trying to do is to they know it's illegal for them to do an executive order because the Supreme Court has already ruled that it is our individual right to exercise our Second Amendment in the United States. That's our constitutional right. And so, as an individual in each state,
Mm-hmm.
so they cannot do an executive order and say flat, turn them in and get rid of them. So, what they're trying to do is to get the everybody who has feelings right now about what happened to blame the fault on the firearm. And so now by doing that, they're trying to push Congress and the House to push bills in order to get gun control and to get passed up through the Senate so he can pass it into law. That's the only way they can do it. Now, they won't take away your individual rights, but what they're going to do is restrict them. And by the restriction we got some examples we're going to pull up, but we just want to get the ground floor explained to what's going on here because a lot of people are not paying attention. And I see a lot of people are saying it'll never happen. It'll never happen. It will not pass. But go back and look what happened to California. Everybody in California was saying it'll never happen. It would never pass. And now look at what California is going through. So California is going through, it used to be a red state. Now it's a blue state. They're planning on instilling more gun control bills into California and taking more people's rights away.
Mm-hmm.
You can't even carry a firearm out there. And if you
Right.
do,
But that's only in certain places because there's some parts of California that is as red as the all out any red state, and there are lots of places. I think it's in Northern California, if I'm not mistaken. And you see most of the guys, especially on social media, that are out there and wherever the deserts are in California, and those guys are still, exercising, at least being able to, recreationally shoot.
That's because the county and the mayor they have
Right,
out there
right.
is
There's
they
not
created
not big
right,
place.
they created a no gun control zone.
Right.
So they can do what they want, exercise. But if they go outside that county, they're subject to be hit.
Oh yeah.
With,
Now the state is different than
right.
individuals. The same as people who don't understand when we go north and you talk about New York and New York City is the worst. But when you get outside and you go upstate New York, there are people who can actually own firearms, and not necessarily. I don't know about the carry part, but there are people who can enjoy, actual
Well,
firearms training and actually shoot on their own property. Can you imagine that?
right. Well, they have to have a what do you call it, a license to carry in California in order to carry. Um, let's see.
That FOID, is that where they have FOID?
Have what now?
FOID card.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, one of those places out west, either Chicago or California, you have to have what's called a FOID card, and I don't know,
Okay.
federal something, blah blah blah. Even to buy ammunition, you have to have that.
Well, in order for that to happen, still got to have you got to go through a litany of stuff, and it's got to be approved by the local sheriffs.
Yep.
All right, this is what I wanted to show you guys. What's going on here? And these first laws are smoke screens. I'm gonna tell you the ones that they're not posting, and they're hard to find. So the ones that they have out right now is called the Raise the Age Act. And this is one me and you was talking about the other day, Al. They want to turn the age from 18 to 21 to buy. I don't know why they're saying it's already at 21 to buy a handgun, and you already have to be yeah. So now they want to raise it from 21 to even buy a shotgun or a rifle. And yeah, now from what I understand, you 18, you can carry a rifle or a shotgun in the military all day long, go fight for this country, but you won't be able to buy a rifle or shotgun. What if you want to go hunting with your dad or something like that?
Right.
Yeah.
Personal, you can't own
Hmm?
one. For personal use, you can't own one. You can own one for government use though.
Right. You can own one for government use. And then we have the Prevent Gun Trafficking Act. I have no idea where they got this one from, because
I'm gonna be a little facetious here. Are they going to track their own steps or just the steps of others? Fast and Furious comes to mind right away.
They're gonna. Oh yeah, Fast and Furious should be tracked, but this is something that's going to. It'll basically it's already against the law for me to send a firearm to another state through the mail. That's a felony. That's trafficking firearms. So why do you got to put another trafficking law on top of the trafficking law that we already have? Just enforce the ones we already have. See, this trafficking law, they saying it can be used, distributed across state lines, but I guarantee you they'll try to use this trafficking law in the state itself. If I sell a firearm to you and you sell one to me, and if you go out of state, they'll try to use the e-commerce trafficking law on us. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's what it'll be a loophole now. Then the Untraceable Firearms Act, the famous ghost guns, which is very interesting because you as an individual can build your own firearm as long as you can't sell it, you can't give it away, you must keep it for yourself. So you can make a ghost gun by just scratching off all the serial numbers on the firearm if you can find them all. So I really don't understand that proportion of it either, to make a law for the ghost guns.
Well, a lot of these laws and all these other provisions that they're making to get ready to make laws are based upon the ideology of people who have no idea about guns. They've heard something.
Yeah.
And they keep moving forward with something instead of finding concrete evidence of either to disprove what they're saying or to prove what they're saying. And a lot of times when we look at these things, people who know guns go, you just said it. These new laws will only hurt law-abiding citizens.
Correct.
Simple as that. They're not going to stop the next shooting.
Right.
What I've always said, and I'm going to continue saying, take away the gun, you'll still have violence. That's the key.
Yes.
We keep hearing, oh, this gun violence got to stop, and all the baby comes out. It hurts my heart too. It hurts every person that has feelings can say that they're upset. These people who have done this are not Second Amendment proponents. These are people who are against the Second Amendment. To go out and use a gun in such a violent way against innocent children, that's ridiculous. So we're not for that. That's not the Second Amendment. But yet you want to take the Second Amendment away. But these criminals are the ones that have perpetrated these acts. They're the ones that need to pay, not people who own a gun that's in a safe. I mean, you know how many people? We're the exception, and probably a couple people who are watching. I saw Rob up there. You know, he shoots, and since I've met him, he's been shooting, and he's progressed every year and doing more involved in shooting sports and practicing and training and all kind of stuff. Rob Wilson is another guy that we know. He's same thing. You know, he shoots all the time. Mike Smith shoots all the time. These guys are active shooters. You never see them running into a goddamn school. They haven't run into nobody's grocery store. They haven't targeted any people. Those are Second Amendment people. Those are people who stand for the Second Amendment, not these jerks that we see on the news.
And their guns haven't jumped up off the table and drove down to the local store and robbed it and shot up everybody.
Nope.
So it's crazy. Then you got this law right here, Ethan's law. This is one they've been pushing for a long time, where you have to have safes in your home, which if you do have children in your home, you should have safes in your home. But now they're going to make it a criminal act. And the seizure of all your guns if something happened. Okay. If that might.
So that second part with seizure of your guns is something new. But I want to tell you,
that's new.
Back into the 90s, individual states have already made laws reference to. I don't know who little Ethan was, and probably a sad story.
He was
find out about it.
Yeah.
But they've already made it. And you know what I'm going to tell you? It's not being used. It's not being utilized to its fullest extent, and I'll tell you why. Lady leaves a gun.
You have an audio. We have an audio problems with you. Your audio.
Lady leaves a gun unsecured.
There it is.
What about that?
There it is.
Lady leaves a gun. Yeah, I'm trying to worry about the pop, 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 and then you get below volume.
Right.
But anyway, so the lady leaves the gun unsecured. Child finds it, caps himself. Kids gone. DA decides not to prosecute because the mother's suffering enough.
Right.
But the law is there.
Right.
You follow me? So there's no need for whoever Ethan is, there's no need for an Ethan law. There are many states that already have that.
The law is already there.
The
right.
law is already there.
It's already there.
Not being used.
Right.
So now those that don't know feel like these politicians are doing something because they're talking about this. You have to just look into your own state. Understand what's going on in your own backyard first.
Right. So, and here's another one, closing the bump stock loophole. That was already done by Trump. So I don't know what this loophole they're supposed to be saying is supposed to be. So that's really not making any sense. I think because a lot of guys been making bump stocks without actually purchasing a bunk stock. You can make it with a piece of plywood and a couple of nails. So I don't understand. I guess that's what they're trying to do.
You can make it with this.
What's that? I'm not watching. Hold on. Yeah, with your finger. You can make a bump stock with your finger.
Right.
Yeah, but they're going to make that illegal and chop it off, and ATF going to seize it.
Mm-hmm. But I want to tell you something about bipartisanship that we can witness right here.
Mm-hmm.
New guy gets in and he cleared the house of everything the old guy did, right? Except what? Bump stock.
Right.
That's still there. So now we're just reading that little piece that you put up there.
Oh, I know what it is. I know what it is.
They're not taking it away.
I know what it is. This law is a lot more deeper than what they want to do to it. See, he said Trump just banned bump stocks from being sold. I think what this law is going into, they want bump stocks turned in and confiscated. That's what this law is. This
The
is
state of Maryland
confiscation.
did that.
Yes, that's what this law is. That's why they reintroducing it, and they adding a caveat to it. It's a confiscation law, and but the problem is, will they just take the stocks, or will they take what the stock is attached to it? See, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because at that point you're taking property, you're seizing property.
You're seizing property. They might not give you a time to take it off. They might just say, "Okay, yeah, you got it. We're coming to your house, and we're gonna take it now." Now I'm gonna tell you how they're gonna know this here in a minute. Once I get through reading all this stuff. The other one, Keep America Safe Act. This is the one where they want to ban magazines, and also Canada did that too, where they're going to ban magazines from having more than 5 rounds permanently. Remember, on the magazine you guys can buy, and the magazines have a stopper in it, but you can take a pair of pliers and break that stopper off. They want to make these magazines where that whole bottom is full of plastic or polymer, where you cannot break anything off and add any more rounds in there. That's what they want to actually do. And so they're saying nobody should own a 30-round magazine or any magazine over 5 rounds. Nobody should own them. And if you do have them, this law will be allowed for you. If you're caught with those magazines, it'll be a felony, and you're going to they want you to turn them into your local police departments. Now, let me go to the stuff that's not on that list. All right. So what's not on that list is they want to ban all firearms itself that look like AR-15s. The manufacturer, the sale, and the ownership, and they want you to turn them in. That's what they want. They're not going to grant all this stuff. Nothing is grandfathered. This is total confiscation. They want you to turn them in for them to be destroyed. Then they're going to go down to, now you had your lovely president that was on TV saying the 9mm destroys a lung. Okay. So he virtual signal told everybody that they're planning on going all the way down to the 9mm pistol. And that's how far this gun control is going to go down. So if you give them the AR, and the next time around, the 9mm is coming up too. And it's going to come up in there anyway, because you got PCC.
But you got to also understand this. If you listen to his explanation of it, right, just listen to it, he was wrong, because he
of course
that the 9mm and does this and it makes this kind of hole, but he's really talking about 22s. 22 is the one that likes to bounce around and bounce off hard tissue and bones and things like that. And I'm like, so basically you're gonna do a description of one bullet and then give it the accolades up to another one. But it doesn't make sense, and that's what happens right where we are right now. It doesn't have to make sense. They just have to say something. Just have to say something.
So they also going after the private transfer sales. I can no longer sell a firearm to Al. Al can no longer sell a firearm to me. Now we have to go through a FFL and do the 4473s and do a proper transfer of the firearms to each other. And now those firearms registration swaps over, and it's just going to create another bureaucracy. Now they know exactly what we're doing and when we're doing it, but they're going to limit your sales on how many firearms you can buy per month. They're also going to limit it how many firearms you can transfer, do private sales to per month. Also too, they're looking at there's a ammunition what do you call it limit that you can buy per month. You're not going to be able to buy cases and cases of ammo anymore. You'll be limited to maybe getting a box or two every couple of weeks. Yeah. So it's something crazy like that. I don't know what exactly is because they're hiding these bills because they don't want the public to see them. But because they don't want them to see them, because once the public sees these bills, they're going to go nuts. And they're all doing this week. They've been having hearings on this as of started Thursday morning. They've been having hearings in the House trying to bring this to a vote by next week. So it was another one I was getting ready to say. I can't remember. Go ahead and say your piece, and maybe I can remember what I was going to say. It's always on the tip of my tongue, but I keep throwing it out.
Well, I'm also I had did some research on previous bans in the United States as far as firearms are concerned, and what the effectiveness of it was. So I'm going to read this real quick, and it's one of the most cited studies on the effectiveness of the ban, done in 2004, that federally funded reported by the National Institute of Justice at the Department of Justice found that the number of gun crimes involving automatic weapons dropped by 17% in 6 cities involved in the study during the ban. That's automatic.
Which is true.
But the word says automatic.
Automatic. Right.
Automatic weapons.
Remember, before 1979, we could own automatic weapons.
Right. So we're talking about automatic weapons and semi-automatic and quote-unquote assault rifles. That's a totally different thing. And that's what you have to do is you have to read.
Well, assault rifle is an automatic weapon.
So, do you have an assault rifle?
No, can't own one.
That's my point.
I can, but I don't have that kind of money to dish out for the license.
Right. But my point is, they say assault rifle, and they mean the one that you and I have in our homes right now, semi-automatic.
Right.
I don't nitpick them on that because I understand that's not their thing.
But see, but that's called they're redirecting verbiage, and we ourselves as firearms people are doing it too. Not me and you, but there's some other people even call the AR-15 an assault rifle. I've heard them say it.
Yeah, I don't correct them either. I move on and I take note of the idiot that I was just talking to. Same thing when I get clips and I say, okay, well, you mean a magazine? And they say, yeah, you got that, you got that kind of clip. I'm starting to correct them because it's starting to piss me off. But but what I wanted to say, I know what it is. The gun registration. They want a national gun registration in the United States. So every gun we own, we have to register. And you guys know what that is, right? Once you do that gun registration, we've seen this done in Australia. When you do the gun registration, what's the next thing comes behind it? Confiscation. Because they know exactly who, what, when, and where.
They know where they're at. They also want for everybody to get a firearm, you have to do firearms. You have to get a firearms license, a federal firearms license. Now, this federal firearms license, they're talking about imposing. You have to go down, take a written exam. You have to take a shooting class and qualify. Now, you got to do this every year, or so many years, just like a driver's license. That's how they're going to do it.
Well, that's what I was trying to remember. It's called a FOID, and it's the Firearm Owner's Identification Card or whatever identification.
Right.
Illinois does it right now.
Okay. So I think Utah does it too, if I'm not mistaken.
And what these folks
you got to requalify.
They're starting to get these little places that are different states that have things that they like, California, New York, and they're going to try to spread that all over, that everywhere.
Right. So now they're going to when you got to get this license, if anything happened, you got to have insurance too. You got to have insurance along with the license for firearms. Just in case you cause a death or accident, whatever, you need to be able to pay for that. And just like car insurance. And so if you don't have the insurance, your insurance lapse, or something happens, let's say somebody says he threatened me and now they're going to confiscate your license, all your firearms will be confiscated along with that license.
Mm.
They're going to confiscate everything. And in order to get all that stuff back, you have to go to the court, get your license back. Then you may get your firearms back. Once they confiscate them, you're not getting them back. You already know that. And
hell and high water if you do.
Oh yeah. And so all that stuff's going to be gone, and it's going to be for anything. Somebody can falsely accuse you of domestic violence. Somebody can falsely accuse you of threat. You can come under a red flag law, anything. Oh, the red flag laws is something else. They want a nationwide red flag law. And all you guys who PTSD veterans, you guys are going to be subject to that one. So be careful of that because now they know you got a mental issue, and only thing you need is for now you need a judge to order to take away your firearms. But once they federalize this, anybody can do this and take your firearms away at a federal level. You're not going to get them back. You're done at that point. Yeah. So with that, let's take a station break and thank our sponsors for putting on this show. We didn't even open up with the show. I was so excited about this. And when we come back, we're going to continue to talk about some more gun controls. I think Al's got some stuff he wants to throw on the table. And we want to hear from you guys out there watching. If you guys got anything you want to ask us or talk about in gun control, maybe you guys in different states, different areas. Like I said, this is an active show. You can text in and we will put your texts up on air if they're appropriate. You can call in at 404-692-0561. And with that, all right, we're going to thank our sponsor, Saber Team Tactical, for broadcasting the show. You just go to saberteamtactical.com and you can go right here to the top to his classes, and we have classes going on as of this month and next month. Go ahead, Al.
Yep. We got a class of one that we're going to do tomorrow is a self-defense, firearms for self-defense. And basically we work through the individual's skill level to make sure that they, we can able to push them where they start and not necessarily pull somebody through. And what I mean by that is if somebody's capable of magazine reloads and they're capable of sight alignment, sight picture, things like that, we don't just keep going over the basics. We progress. We start to moving the shoot and taking a step to the right, taking a step to the left, totally getting off the X, 3 steps to the right, 3 steps to the left, maintaining the understanding and the proximity to your adversary, things like that. So we just keep moving and progressing, moving forward, moving back, finding cover. What's the difference between cover and concealment? Things of that nature is what you'll find in that class.
Right. So we got a litany of classes going on. Mm-hmm. You can see we got the basic firearm, semi-automatic, concealed carry, Al's favorite, right there, shotgun.
Yes, sir.
And medical and rifle classes, rifle PCC, and the big class at the end of the year, the rifle and tactical gear class. We also click on this gray button right here, and it takes you to an online store. And there you can see we sell custom engravings. If you got anything you need personally, I'm going to have the wife bring one down here, and I can show you guys. Also got swag, Saber Team Tactical swag, body armor. Yeah, we got to get into talk about body armor too. Plate carriers, and ballistic helmets and medical supplies. That's all that stuff comes from a medical supply house in North Carolina. All right, and back to the show. One of the things I know they plan on doing is you guys been paying attention to New York, and New York has put a bill in that's going to ban body armor permanently. Okay, here we go, right here. I inherit my dad's guns when he died in 2004. Sorry about your loss. Are those at risk, including in the ban, if it passed? Dear God, I hope not. They don't, as long as you don't tell anybody about them, like put them on any registry, then nobody will know. But what they're going to try to do with these laws is they're going to make it a felony if you don't comply. And if you don't comply when you get the felony, you will lose all your rights anyway. So it's one of those things. You have to make that personal decision on your own, what you want to do and how you want to pursue this. I can't make any recommendations because it's illegal. But I can say you guys are better in numbers than being alone, if you know what I mean. Groups, if you're in a group, it's harder to pick out an individual in the group than it is to just go up against one individual. So you have to find some type of support group, some type of 2A group that's fighting against gun control, and support those groups. We had the NRA back in the day, but the NRA is not like it used to be in the 80s.
Yeah, but they're still around. They're still kicking.
They're still around.
The things that we don't see that happen with the NRA on a regular basis is still there, and then they're still trying to righten the ship. We both in a total agreement that it's way over our head. But Wayne LaPierre is not good for the NRA. Didn't say it just like that.
Right. He has systematically destroyed the NRA.
Mm-hmm. But he has such a grasp on the control of it that he can just stand there and thumb his nose, and he should step down or move away in order to get some revitalization in the NRA, and he won't.
Mm-hmm.
Too much money, too much power.
But there's a lot of other groups that's out there that are actually supporting and fighting against these laws. We have one here in Georgia. You're a member of it, right, Al? Georgia Carry?
Yeah.
Right, Georgia Carry. Yeah, I need to become a member. I keep saying I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And I will become a member. I'm thinking about I like to do things. I like to put both feet in it and just go buck wild. COVID kind of messed everything up. That's when I was going to do my membership 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I was going to become a lifetime member. And I still possibly am. I haven't been to a meeting yet because, work and everything has been going on. There's a couple of groups on Instagram. I think it was I can't think of. Let me see. Can I find the name of them?
I think I remember FRC or something like that.
FRC, yeah, FRC. Yeah. Those guys have a pretty good track record. You don't have to become a member. You can donate to them for their legal defense. They have fought and won. Remember the case in California? The high capacity magazines that were banned in California.
Right.
Those were the guys who got it overturned. So, yeah, I mean, there are some really good people. Follow them. Not only follow them, like them, and support them with some finances.
It's actually FPC.
FPC? Okay.
Yeah, Firearms Policy Coalition.
Oh, your mic is gone again.
Firearms Policy Coalition.
Okay, yeah. This vibrates. It's like get to store it. So some of the stuff I make with laser engraving. This is one I just made today, and I'm 76% sure No one has taken my firearms. And this is actually on a piece of wood. It's a plaque. You see that? So, and this is actually, I think it's an 8x10. So, most of that stuff is available. And
We're in the state of Georgia.
yeah, we're in the state of Georgia. Where are you from? What state you're in? If you can come back to us. Oh,
Congratulations.
just moved to Nevada from California. Yep. Do you feel free? Do you? I know the weight is off your shoulders. So now you can. I don't know. Let's see what else. I used to be into guns years ago in California, but I stopped because of all the laws. Yep, that's correct.
Imagine.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
it makes it very dangerous to be.
Yeah, expensive too.
Yeah.
He said way
Yeah,
freer.
way freer. Yep. And the only thing our weapons permit doesn't allow us to carry in Nevada. So that's the only thing that's kind of sucks. It's great to see a gun culture here in Nevada. Yeah, they got some excellent instructors out there with some outdoor classes that you can take. So some real high speed stuff they're doing out there. I mean, with rifles and pistols, car movement. They're doing a whole bunch of stuff out there. They got some good guys out there. So I do recommend checking some of those guys out and taking some of those classes in the springtime, not in the summertime, because it'll be pretty harsh. The weather out there.
But what about the fall?
Oh yeah, the fall. Yeah, the fall too. Spring or fall.
You
Yeah.
skip right over.
Yeah, I sure did. Yeah.
Two
Yeah.
seasons.
Yeah. Well, you know me. I'm a one season track guy.
Yeah, that's true.
Cool weather. Only cool weather. So those are the gun laws that's coming out, and a lot of you guys, like I said, are not paying attention. Oh, you know what? It's really got me really puzzled. Me and Al has caught somebody we know that who is a supposedly supporter.
He goes to a lot of the meetings locally too.
Go to a lot of the meetings, shoot in a lot of the shooting groups. Arnold, you know who it is, but I won't say it. And he posted on his Twitter account to from a Democratic was it a senator? It's a Democratic senator to go after the NRA people and call them and give them nasty grams and tell them you want more gun control.
Right.
Yeah. So we got people out here, oxymorons, who.
But you said this before. Especially to the folks that are new in ownership and their Second Amendment. You have to understand where your loyalties lie and who you put in place to make these decisions could make the decision that will take your guns away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you put in there.
Prime example, I always go back to California. Gavin Newsom, he's one of them. They knew what he was about before they voted him in.
Right.
And when they got him in, and everybody's like, "Oh, we don't want him now because he's giving these draconian laws and he's restricting us," and he just went nuts out there. But they knew what he was. They knew he was a devil when they voted him in. Then they tried to get him recalled. That just tells you, and they couldn't. They couldn't get him recalled.
One of the things that I hear over and over again is the time, right? And everybody, they want to take guns away. But for us, law-abiding citizens, and I'm not talking about people getting out there for the Second Amendment, but law-abiding citizens, how do you defend your family after that? How do you defend them, right?
Yeah.
Because we're going to call the police and wait. And then how am I going to get preferential treatment because my case is ongoing to somebody else who may be, just fearful of something happening? How many police do we have?
Right. But see, I understand what you're saying. California is a lost cause. They voted in horrible leftists who ruined the state, and they reelected them anyway. No hope. True. However, I'm from California. We saw this coming in the early 80s. And we tried to warn everybody, even the conservatives out there, and everybody kept saying it will not happen. They did not want to do anything about it. They were just like, it's not going to happen here. I'm not worried about it. You're crazy. And when it happened, they were the one who's looking crazy. And also, two, the people who were 2A supporters in California, they would not fight for their rights at all. They wouldn't fight for their rights. They wouldn't protest. They wouldn't do anything. These aren't prosecuted anymore. Yes, that is true. They are literally walking in the homes. I didn't know they was walking in the homes still and stuff because they can get away with it and won't be prosecuted. I know they was doing the stores, but I didn't know they were actually doing home invasions or something similar to that to rob folks. That's crazy. They walk right into my brother's home. Wow. And then you can't. And if you defend yourself against that, it's going to be you'll probably get prosecuted. He called the sheriffs, and they told him it happens all the time. Wow, isn't that something? Yeah. And like I said, if he had defended himself against that, he would have probably been the one going to jail for just exercising his Second Amendment rights, because I don't think they have a castle law in California and at all. So, I mean, that's pretty bad. I would never visit California again. I am done with California. I have relatives out there, and I don't think I ever go out there to see them. So, and it's but that's a prime example. California is actually the test bed for what happened, because California used the same test bed that New York did almost, except without using the police to be stomping on people on this. What do you call that? Was a law that you know the law, search and when they see somebody walking, search and seizure. No,
you talking about
it was a law that stop and
frisk.
Stop and frisk. Yeah, stop and frisk. They didn't do the stop and frisk law in California, but they modeled themselves after New York, because New York had a similar, downtown New York was in the 70s was drugs and prostitution.
That was from the 70s to the 90s.
It was 70s to the 90s, went all the way to the 90s.
Cleaned it up. When Giuliani became the mayor, he cleaned up the 42nd Street corridor, the 25th Street corridor, and all those areas with a hard hand. I mean, that's the only way you're going to get it clean. And
right,
he overlooked a lot of things, and I'm sure some people took some liberties that they probably shouldn't have and stepped out of bounds a few times. But that's how you win championships.
Right. And now, see, California is doing the exact opposite. They're turning their place into 42nd Street, the whole trying to turn the whole state into 42nd Street, and restricting the people from defending themselves. And it's crazy.
And you think about the way the economy is going in most of these bigger cities, and you got a lot of people being displaced, being technically homeless. And then the homeless are taken to the streets, and they're building houses and encampments in different communities, and they can't defend themselves because they're prey. They're prey.
I don't know about all that. I saw that the homeless people are heavily armed. I saw a guy shoot at a lady that's tried to stab him with an AK. A homeless guy.
Right. Well, think about it, but that's illegal. Follow me?
Right.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the legal ownership of firearms are going to be taken away.
Right.
So that's now that person is illegal for both his actions and for the implement that he's trying to do it with.
Right. So, if all this happens, and this is the last straw, the last throws that they have to try to do this, and because things are going to possibly change in November, and so they need to get all these bills taken care of now. San Francisco is absolutely ruined. Super liberal prosecutor doesn't prosecute almost anything. Yeah, I heard about that. It's crazy. Even so bad they didn't even want to prosecute the what was the guy who Will Smith who slapped
Oh yeah, the
yeah,
acting, the
yeah,
acting slap.
right, the fake slap.
Mm-hmm.
And so but what if it happens, you looking at Australia, what happened with them, then we look at what we went through with the um what do you call the sickness that we had, we had to use special words out, and the sickness that we had to shut down the country for 2 years. And so they tried to push draconian laws onto people, and a lot of the law enforcement in the states were doing it, arresting people for not
Oh
wearing
yeah,
masks, for not
especially
for
on the
gathering.
coast, on both
Yes,
coasts.
right, and prosecuting them,
Mm-hmm.
which was crazy. And because it wasn't a law, it's like how are you prosecuting somebody for something that's not a law? And but they were doing it anyway. So now they knew not to push too hard because we had firearms. But if they can get rid of firearms and the Second Amendment, just imagine, think about what happened down in Australia where they were taking people and putting them in camps. They were putting them in, locking them up, doing all types of stuff to them.
Look at
You have,
Taiwan,
yeah, Taiwan. Is it Taiwan? Taiwan?
Taiwan,
Yeah.
China, any of them.
Yeah. China is actually going to your home and dragging you out and giving you the jab.
Yep.
And forcefully. You don't even have a choice. Fentanyl is everywhere in San Francisco, but 2 people were prosecuted for it last year. Only 2.
Right.
Wow. That's crazy.
That's the same
Yeah.
thing. We can flip that same usage of the law on firearms. We already have
Hmm.
thousands of laws on the books. What do we need more for? Why don't we
Right.
just put in effect the ones that we already have on the books? Why
Right.
don't we hold the responsible? Why don't we hold people responsible? Why don't we hold criminals
Right.
responsible for their
Right.
actions? You know, and one of the other things that we touched on in the past, I want to say is like I don't believe teachers should be armed. I don't. I think
You don't?
I think what should happen is these school systems should come off that what and get
Off the
up there
money?
and have real warriors, people who want to go and do that, not a reluctant teacher with a 38 special. They should have a
Yep.
guy that's training, that practices, that's willing to step up and take control of an incident like that or get involved. Not some teacher that's got lessons to worry about and grading papers. That's not his responsibility. That's not what he signed up for. That's not what she signed up for. They shouldn't have put another burden responsibility on the teachers to defend those children in these schools. They should have a whole separate team, and that team should fall underneath the police department. They should be qualified every year. They should have the same qualification standards as every agency in America, and they should be available to those schools. When these nut jobs know that that's a hard target, they won't go there anymore. Then we can force them into our government buildings where there's soft targets, and we have signs up that say no gun zone. Then send them back down to the courthouses. So you were crazy, like you'd hear about the crazy guy today. Told some Secret Service police officer that he was a Interpol agent. The officer knew right away this dude was a nut job. They find him. He's got BB guns and some magazines, and the news reports it as he had multiple magazines of what? BBs? He had a BB gun. What the hell is he gonna do with that?
But
Oh,
he's
like the
he's a
Red
mass shooter.
Rider and that Christmas story.
Yeah.
Oh, he might put your eye out. Look,
Right.
come on, man.
Yeah, like I said, every weekend, 30 people are shot in Chicago. Mass gun control.
All right.
New York too.
But where's the
yeah.
sympathy for them?
Right.
And
Right.
and many times it's drug dealers shooting innocent children by accident.
But see the
But
way
we
the
don't-
FBI. Go ahead.
But we
But
don't
we-
we don't cry for them. We
Right.
don't half mass and you don't see politicians showing up to cry for the people in Chicago.
Right.
Their families are hurt. Their children
Right.
being ripped away. And,
Right.
and it's by gun people who are not Second Amendment proponents. Those are Second Amendment opponents.
And
Those
with
are people who are criminals.
and with your saying that they should have hardened soldiers in there to protect these children. A lot of these people are out there saying, I don't want my children going to a prison. I don't want them to be, but
You said it. You told me this last week. What you said? You never see a active shooter in a hood school
in
because they got cops and
that's right.
metal detectors.
That's right.
Right.
You don't.
So
You
don't
don't.
tell me about you don't want your kid to go into prison as a school. I want you to take one quick look, and you can Google this if you like. Israel. They had enough. They had enough. 20 years ago, there's a whole detachment of warriors that guard their school. Not some guy that's reluctantly holding on to a 38.
But their
warriors.
teachers. But their teachers carry too. So
no, they don't. That's not true.
What? You sure? Was that picture you
I
showed me that
up.
last time? That wasn't a teacher. That was a warrior.
She's one of those defense people.
Oh, okay.
Everybody wanted to say she was a teacher. She's not a teacher. She's a straight up warrior.
Oh, she was a warrior.
You don't have to dress in jungle gear and campaign
right.
clothes.
And I prefer you
to
don't
be a warrior.
I prefer you don't.
She dressed in teacher looking clothes. She had I think it
so
was
she
like
blends.
SA-58, right? But she still
blended in.
Right, she still had a semi-automatic rifle on her shoulder.
Right.
You know, but at first glance, she looks like she's got a plaid shirt on and some jeans.
And be unnoticeable.
Right.
And see, we had the money to beef up these schools, but we gave it to a foreign country overseas, the 40 billion.
Exactly.
And nobody said anything about that money that disappeared out of our coffers to another country. And they're asking for more. That money
should, by the way, a losing cause.
Yeah. They're gonna lose. It's just they just need to give up. Right. And they already lost. So
they already speak Russian. What's the big deal?
Yeah. But that money could have been used to beef up all our schools and to make sure things didn't
and help our homeless veterans.
Right. And but
turn those guys into the warriors that we need. And we don't need soldiers. We don't need somebody that's gonna, run down the middle of we need thinkers because every day is they're not gonna be at war. So at the days that they're not at war, they need to be able to provide and help with these kids.
And how to find this stuff out? Turn that stupid TV off. Stop watching national news. Get on the internet and start reading, researching, doing your homework, because that national news is nothing more than psyops. It's programming you guys to feel things and to see things that you're not supposed to feel or see.
Bro. We're supposed to be winding down.
Okay. Yeah.
Winding down, bro. Winding down.
I was gonna start up. I was gonna taper it off.
My thing, and I'll just leave a little caveat for the next show, is that if you believe that all these things that are happening are coincidental, and why did they happen just now?
Okay, and he said in Israel, teachers do carry firearms, pistols, rifles.
Well, as an individual citizen, but not for the defense of the school. As an individual citizen, everyone over there can carry.
That's something I have to research. I don't know much about Israel's law. If you guys do, I'm going to take it for granted. I'm not going to argue with that because that's something I don't know about. I think Al's Googling it right now. It looks like he's typing it up. He's Googling it. He's a Googler master.
If not, then I have to talk to Sam and because Sam gave me some information.
Oh, he did? Okay. Stop watching the TV. Get on the internet. Do your research. Find like-minded people who support the Second Amendment and support your community, and get out and support your senators, your Congress people who are running now. That's for coming up for November, and make sure you guys get out there and vote for these people, especially if they're fighting for your Second Amendment.
Okay, so what we got is that in 1974, after a school was attacked, Israel declared Israel passed a law mandating armed security in schools, providing weapons training to teachers, and even today runs frequent active shooter drills. So they didn't mandate that they carry them. They said that, just like this guy said, there have been 2 school shootings since then, and both have ended with teachers killing the terrorists. So they are armed.
Yeah, they are armed. Yeah. So yeah, and that's why we don't hear about that. And they're terrorists.
Israel also has a mandatory military service that every
Yes, they do.
Israeli undergoes.
Right. And
Right? So
yeah.
these people are not brand new to guns.
Right.
Everybody has an understanding, and so we have freedom of choice in this country. So you can run away and say, I don't want to take that class. I don't want to take that class.
Right.
And that's fine. All right.
Right.
Move on. But there are people who are willing to step up and do the dirty work.
Right. And they out there. We want to thank you guys. We want to thank you guys for watching the show interactions. Like I said, we got some classes coming up. You see them behind me? Shotgun, June 19th. Rifle self-defense, July 10th. Basic firearms, July 30th. Shotgun class, August 6th. We have some classes this weekend. We'd be on the range. I didn't post those because it's way too late to sign up for them. And we are... I want to tell you guys thank you for the support again. Like, share, and like I said, comment. You can still comment even after the show ended because these will be up on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube for you guys to watch again at your pleasure. And you got anything else?
Yep. Thank you. Take care and be kind to one another.
And I'll see you, Al, on the range tomorrow.